Hi guys, Kirk and Jay here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today, what I want to show you is how to repair a structural crack. What is a structural crack? We'll take a 100-year-old home like we have here. And the whole house is in excellent condition, which means they framed it well, they did the stucco well, everything is just perfect. Why do we have this structural crack here? Well, we'd have to come on this side, and there's the culprit. See this chimney? That's about 5 to 7, 8 tons. So the house is 100 years old, and over 100 years, what happens is settling. Like we did a theater when I was union 30 years ago, and I went back actually last year, and all the ground settled. So all the stucco we shot on with a gun left lips, and then there was a foot and a half below that, and that's natural settling, guys. It's normal. You can't avoid that stuff. It's not something that is within human correctness, and you can't engineer that stuff. Anyway, so this chimney here is what caused this to buckle. Here's a fast way to do it, guys. You take this piece here and you glue it right back. No, I'm kidding. You don't do that. What we have here is we have this stucco actually separated from itself, so we're off about 3/4 of an inch. How do you do this properly, guys? Now, to do it properly, you tear all this off right here, and or you put a new foundation. You could even do tiers. How much would that cost? 10 grand. What we're going to do here for a few $100 is we're going to break this out right here, and I'm going to try to straighten this up. I'm going to try to align it. How am I going to do that? Well, I've got to pull a rod out first and put it up there and feather it in. But what I told the homeowner here, I said, gee, you know, that is beyond our scope to fix it permanently. It can't be done. I mean, even if you try to engineer it and tear the whole thing out, it can't be done. It's minor. In here I see paper, real good paper, and here I see paper. There's it's a heavy felt. So the stucco just tweaked about 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 because of this chimney here. Yeah, you can't see it, but they've patched that chimney a few times where it's settled a little bit. That's what threw this off. Otherwise, the house is in excellent condition, framed just super well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break this out right here, and I'm going to use a hammer chisel. It's going to go prrr, prrr, prrr. If I use muscle, I take my strength and I hit this. Now I push this paper into soft, or I push this stucco into soft paper, and that will compromise the membrane. We don't want to do that. So we're gonna break this out right here. We're gonna break this out, and this already you can see what's going on here. It's in real bad condition. Somebody built it up this much. You know, you can do that. It's just not when the house moves, as it will. It can happen again. So we're going to break this out. We're going to look and see the best way to repair it, because technically I won't know that until I pull it off. What I'm thinking is I may see a little bit of torn paper. We're going to put a polyurethane caulking on that. We're going to wire it. We're going to use some cement plaster. Then we're going to put a finish over it that matches this. All right, guys, we got it papered up. What we did is we took the new paper and went under the existing paper. We did both sides. There's a lot going on here. We showed the owner, and we're only as good as what we have to work with. Fortunately, most of the paper was intact. It looked pretty good. The wood looked pretty good because I opened it. Now what this wide stuff is a polyurethane caulking. It's a sealant, because we were able to get underneath there real well. On top of here, we didn't get much of a bite. Hey, when you're doing structural cracks like this, you do the best you can with what you have to work with. And right now, it's becoming hot, and my mud is setting. So here's what we're doing, guys. We're putting this back together. I got this mud a little stiffer than I want it. That's okay. It's stiff because we're doing a whole bunch of things here today, and we can't always keep on every little thing. Now, let's see. If that was stiff, this next one's going to be even stiffer because it's in the middle of the bucket. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's pretty stiff mud, huh, guys? All right, we're going to take this pyramid and put it on. We're actually going about 2 inches thick, so this stiff mud is not the end of the world for me. It just means it's going to set real fast, and actually I want it to set fast, so I'm good with this. One more, and that's about all the mud. Well, actually, let's see here. A little bit more. Come on now. Stiff stuff, guys. All right. And what I'm going to do here, guys, is after I put this on, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to come back and I'm going to float this. What does that mean? It means I'm going to compress it with a hard rubber float. See how I'm compressing it here? Well, with the hard rubber float, I could actually open it and make it set even faster, as well as smooth it out so I can get what I want. And by the way, we weren't able to straighten the corner out, but I told the homeowner, he says, Kirk, don't even worry about trying to straighten that. I said, well, let me open it, see what we got, and we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, because if we can, I'd like to. But we don't always have that luxury, guys. We're as good as what we have to work with. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to let this set. And in 5 more minutes, I'm going to come over here and show you how we hard rubber float it and apply a color coat. Okay, guys, back to where I was. We must be really sidetracked because somebody just got robbed across the street. We got police and everybody across the street, and they said, did you see what happened? And I thought, no. I asked Jay, hey, did you get the truck in when we did something else? Anyway, all right, this is getting hard as a rock while I'm paying attention, being sidetracked elsewhere. If it gets hard like that, say this is a hard rubber float. Hard rubber float condenses it, compacts it. The green sponge float brings it back to life, brings the aggregate out. So I'm just going here, making sure it all sets in and making it go harder. I'm going to build this out a little bit more right here, and we just use the green sponge float as well as a hard rubber float and compress it. In about another hour, we got a lot of other things we're doing here. Another hour, I'm going to come back to this and I'll show you how we really match the texture as well as the color. Okay, guys, that is set. That is hard as a rock. Now here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to hit it a little bit, just a little bit. Now the fella says, Kirk, don't worry about it. I'm going to paint it. Well, when you paint something, here's the original paint. It shows right through. And even this, because this is done, 50 years later, of course it's going to show through, but I'll show you a tip, guys. He wanted me just to match the finish. Now, match the finish. Okay. What he wanted was, hey Kurt, just give me a texture like this. Okay. Now here's one better, guys. We take it, we skim the whole thing. Now notice, of course, 50 years later, this is a different color. That's okay, because the idea is, I told him, when this dries, it'll be similar. It's not going to match because it's 50 years later, but what you can do is figure out if you want to paint it or leave it alone. Anytime you paint something, guys, now you're on a maintenance thing. So that's done. Here we go. This is done too. And what I'll do is I'll take a sponge float and feather this in. Say, what's a sponge float? I'll show you. All right, now we take a sponge float. I'm just going the extra mile here because I can. Now, clean sponge float, water in it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to feather it in now. Now here's the skill, guys. It's what we do. Again, a lot of it is application. Okay, application is, I only consider that 30% of it. The knowledge is the other 70, because I've been doing this forever. So So I'm going to match the grit under here. That's a sandy grit. So we're giving it a sandy grit. And notice I'm feathering into the existing. I'm feathering into the existing for a reason. I mean, if he chooses to paint this, that's fine. But I'm thinking the paint is going to show just as much as me texturing it and putting this. And you'll see it when it's dry because, okay, that side is what classified as done for the base coat. This side, okay. Get that built back up. This side is now almost set. Now, the weather's a factor, guys. Weather plays a big role in this stuff. If it were, say, 50 degrees, cold, and you can see my breath, well, I'd be here forever. But right now it's about, I'd say it's, what do you think, Jay, about 80? About 80, so we got some warmth going on here. Give me the hot sun any day over the cold. All right, so this is done. Now I'm going to texture it. And when we got other things we're doing here, so when it's dry, we'll come back to it, and I'll show you what it all looks like when it's dry, because it's a better way to go with what we're doing with this color than to just say paint it. And what I'm doing here, this is hot day, it's stuck in the bucket, so I'm just making it where I could spread it. Now we look at their finish, piece of cake. So we're gonna take it and match that finish. Guy had a heavy hand, that's okay. And he's taking it from the top, that's okay. I normally, you guys see me do it, I take it off the bottom. But this fella, he's taking it from the top, so we're gonna take it from the top too. It leaves a different sort of pattern. Pull it from the top. No big deal. Easy. Yep. Okay. We take it from the top. Come on down a little bit. Boom. Hard to see white on white, but what we actually got here is no color. This is just the natural color of the product. It's called 2030, and it's a base 100, which is a white color. A base 200 is a brown color. So, okay. And what we're going to do, guys, is I'm going to go ahead and click off here. I'm going to do the other side. It's going to take me another 5 minutes. We're going to come back in about a half hour and show it to you. That way you can see how it looks when it's dry. Okay, guys, there it is. I took some of this cockeyed corner off because it was pretty wavy. This is a sample that he wants to keep to get the paint. But notice, when you paint stucco, you see how that darkens, or the stucco darkens, this stays lighter. So I says, well, you could do whatever you feels right. You didn't hear this from me, guys, but the house has got a 50-year-old color coat maintenance free finish. That means you never have to paint it. It never should come off. If you waited till summer, you got some dirt and you sieved it, and you took a handful of this dirt in a form of a powder, and you chucked it just like that to simulate what might be 1,000 lawn mowing jobs, because the dust goes in the air, it settles. This will be right on the money anyway, but you didn't hear that from me. My name's Kirk, Jason on the camera. We thank you for watching, and as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one. Once again, folks, we thank you for watching, and I really enjoy all your comments.
If you guys like this video, please click the like button down below, and also if you enjoy what we do, subscribe to our channel so we can keep making these videos for you.
My name is Kirk.
And Jay.
We thank you for watching, and from the entire Giordano family, we'll see you on the next one.